I'm not used to her smile 8 years down the line, and I know 19 years.
It can never be enough.
I'm not serving breakfast. If you want, you can cook, and I'm continuing with the cleaning.
Because God is the one who has blessed us with this child. So He has the manual.
There are some people who, when they come to your place, they belittle you.
I had a plethora of expectations.
I realized that there is beauty in dark ladies.
When I get money, I only use it for three things. For fare, credit, and just a small bit just to keep my pocket busy.
This is Family Times. You are right on time to catch us on Family Times, a program that focuses on matters relating to families, ranging from commitment, love, everything that involves two people from different backgrounds coming together, united by this bond called love. Today, we are going to discuss how to relate with the in-laws. They can be very good people, and they can be a thorn in the flesh. Joining us for this discussion is my wife, Linda. Linda, say hi to the viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Next is a lovely couple, our co-host, Tabitha and Richard. Please say hi to our viewers.
Hi.
Hi, viewer. My name is Richard Ouma, and this is my wife, Tabitha Opio.
Been married for the last 19 years and still counting. We are here 8 years down the line, and we love it.
Thank you.
In-laws. In-laws. They say brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law.
Yes.
Richard.
Yeah. Well, the chain of in-laws are what we expect to have in families. Your wife has a sister, has a brother. You have a brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Your wife was born to a couple. She has a mother, she has a father. And equally, you are born of the same. You have brothers and you have sisters who are going to get into this marriage one way or the other. And you expect conflicts and you expect good times just as well. Because some are very well embracing, some may have difficulties, some are very wild, some are very
supportive.
Yes. So it's a mixture of many things. It's a mixture of many things, and therefore it definitely makes life very interesting.
So when we talk about in-laws, we talk about relatives by extension. Do you have in-laws?
Yeah, I have in-laws. Yeah.
Brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws.
Yeah, I have brother-in-laws and sister-in-law. Yeah.
Tabi?
I do. And I have to just say that, you know what? I really appreciate my in-laws. Why? Especially my mother-in-law. I wouldn't be having this man without her. So to me, or for me, she's a very special lady. Yes.
Yes, we are going to talk more about mother-in-law, because I know that mothers, right from where we are sitting, we have children. You have a son, much connected to you than the father. It goes without saying that boys are connected to their mothers, and girls are connected to their fathers. And that is why I want us to have a special thought for mother-in-law.
Okay.
But let me just talk about the relatives who come to visit with us just after marriage, just after the wedding. Maybe to throw it as a question, when is the right time for the in-laws to come for a visit?
I know when you just married, I don't think it's the right time for the in-laws to come in, because this is the time you have with your spouse. You need to bond. But when these people come in, they usually put their eyes like seeing this lady maybe is not the best for my brother, or this man is not the best for my sister. But I think they need time. No in-laws at that point.
Up to what time?
Give it 1.5 years. so that we can host one.
Tabby.
Yeah, I think I agree because most of them come, some of them, not most,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, some of them come with the wrong intentions. Well, some come with the good intentions.
But you need your
Probably, yeah, probably to support in one way or the other because you could be having challenges in one way or the other, or they could be having challenges. Probably you're living in the city and they probably got college and there's actually nowhere else they could get accommodation. So coming to your house or apartment would really be of help to them.
Richard, do they come or they're invited?
Dave, some of them come
yeah.
without any invitation because they still think they have a right on you,
Yes.
much more than what your wife has with you. Yeah, it's unfortunate that some people start life because of situations which are out of control. Probably a parent is in the village and this is the only breadwinner and family has to come and live with him. And before you're even married, they're already living. So the challenge is there, is you're going to send them away. Whatever they get from you as their only brother who probably is working, are they going to lose it when you come? Now you can understand the anxiety that comes with that. People don't know how situations are going to be. The only thing they have in their mind is that this woman who is married to our brother, is he our mother?
Right.
Is she our mother? Is she going to behave like our mother? Because when she doesn't,
Yeah.
then all information goes back to your mother-in-law. She does this, she does that, she does, because they only know how your mother lived with them or has lived with you.
Yes.
And they expect that your wife is going to be your mother,
And
your mother is your wife.
And that is why I want us to talk about them freely, because normally they come with intentions. They would want to take back some information back home, that so-and-so is this, so-and-so is this. And Tabby just whispered it as you were speaking, that they come thinking that this brother-in-law or this sister-in-law has come to take the place of our relative. If it's a brother, has come to take the place of our brother, has come to take the place of our sister, financially, and even that emotional attachment. Remember initially, probably like what the scenario that you've mentioned, you were staying with them before,
Then
but
you get
here
married.
you are, someone else is introduced into this family.
You look like, or you felt like you are an intruder. And everything that they have been enjoying here is now going to be difficult to get.
Because everything, Tabby.
But I think you shouldn't also blame the in-laws much because the generation, like think about it. Personally, I had that experience. We had an uncle who would visit anytime. You know, you want to, this is my dad's brother. You want to go to Nairobi, you don't even call. You are there knocking. Oh, and they're always glad to you know, have you. They don't even ask you when you're going back. You know, you're in your uncle's house. You know, so it's just that generation, you know. You think about it. Now Richard is married and the mother says, oh, Richard is married. Mike, that is the little brother. Just go to Richard's house. They don't see any harm because after all, this is the brother. So you also have to understand where they are coming from. Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
Yes,
for instance, there is this friend of mine. She has
have friends.
Yeah, I have friends.
Yes.
This friend of mine has a brother-in-law, and every day she keeps on complaining to me that, you know what, me, I'm very tired. There's one day she crossed paths with her husband because of his brother. You see, there are some people who, when they come to your place, they belittle you. Like, for example, this lady comes from school, she's a teacher. She comes from school, and when she comes back, whatever she left in the morning, this guy, he has eaten all the food, and there's a baby for this friend of mine, not even taken the tea. Then when she comes, she has to do the laundry, she has to cook, she has to wash the utensils. Then this guy just comes and sits. This lady is mopping.
Waiting for food.
Yeah, waiting for food. This lady is mopping, and he's coming in with dirty slippers and just walking. And when this lady asks him, what are you doing? And he, I've stepped there, and he's the one who has passed there. So this lady always feels that this guy is going into his nerves. So what she usually, one day she was fed up, and she told the husband, you know what? You're going to choose between me and him. So there are some people
Just hold on to that. Just hold on to that.
Yeah.
When we talk about in-laws, and I want to clearly state that when we are talking about in-laws in this show, we are talking about good in-laws, people who are supportive, and we're also talking about in-laws that are very much destructive. But what normally comes out is that some of the things, the bad things that they do, come out so pronounced than the good things that they do. We have very supportive in-laws. But at that point now that Linda is bringing up, when there is a conflict between maybe my wife and my in-laws, how can it be sorted out? You know, because you know it's a balancing act. You want to you want to be on your brother's side and at the same time be on your wife's side.
Yes. Dave, I think we many times react very, very wrongly. Your wife is yourself. And your brother and your sister must know that when they're affecting your wife, they're affecting you equally. And therefore, the issue of brother moves aside. The step becomes bigger. The moment a man gets married, the first person in their life is their wife. And when a lady has been married, the first one in their lives is the husband. That space must be given. Now, indeed, there are brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws, mother-in-laws, fathers-in-law who don't know their boundaries. This must be defined right from the beginning. You must make it known that now this is me and I am she or he. And therefore, there are things here which are going to change. It's going to change because if you are fond of taking bread and informing me, the same should go on with my wife. The way you treat me is the same way that you should treat my wife. Because it's not me anymore. It's us. Yes. And everything that is in this house now is defined as ours, not mine. So you can't separate me from my wife.
That is why, you know, that is the truth.
Yes.
But the delicate balance I was talking about here is this, that I need to talk to Linda's sister or brother in a certain way. In fact, if it is Linda's brother or Linda's sister, let me just say her relative, I would want Linda to sort it out. Because the moment I step in, it becomes something else at home. The same way my relatives, if there is a problem in this house, if Linda steps in to sort it out and I am quiet, it will look like I don't like her people.
I think there's also one bit that we also do, and the bit is, for instance, if I tell my relatives or my sisters negative things about Richard, they will definitely have a negative thing about him. If Richard talks about me negatively to his people, they will also have that negative. You understand? For instance, if I'm going to visit my brother, most of the times I will not even say, I will say, I'm going to my brother's house. How come I don't say I'm going to my sister-in-law's house? Because it's just, you know, there's the mentality. We already have an opinion. So it also starts with us. We also have to be very cautious on how we talk to our in-laws about, our relatives about our spouses. That will also help a lot.
When we want to solve such kind of conflicts, you don't solve them separately. You sit together and address the matter together. Whichever side it's coming from. It's your brother or your sister against your wife, or it's her sister or her brother against you. This thing must be solved, you know, together. Bring whatever the people are, sit them down, sit together with your wife, hold hands if possible, and address the matter so that they know it's not coming from one side. The view is the same. Don't ever be worried so much about what they are going to say because
they must.
Yes, there's going to be talk. There's going to be talk which you appreciate, there's going to be talk that you don't like. That must be there. Because this is a totally new person in the family, the approach will be different. There are those who will think, what has Dave married? What kind of woman is this? There are those who will be so happy. Oh, Dave has married such a wonderful lady. You know, it's different. It's unique in every situation.
In the event that that talk doesn't bear any fruit, what do you do? Very fast.
In the
Send
event
them
that,
home.
yeah, you send them home because at the end of the day, it's me and you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let us talk about mother-in-law.
Yes.
And you don't have to talk about your mother-in-law because then we'll be talking about my mother. You can talk about a friend. You have so many friends.
Talking of a
Talk
friend.
about a friend.
Okay,
Talk
alright.
about a friend.
Mother-in-law
When
the
should
same.
they come, or how? Talk about mother-in-law.
Personally, I am not afraid to talk about my mother-in-law because, truly speaking, people have very negative things to say about their mother-in-law. But I am blessed to have a mother-in-law who knows God. And you know, when you get a mother-in-law who knows
where
God,
does she come from? She's a Nyawat?
Nyakach.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, she's actually one of the pioneers of the Seventh-day Adventist.
Is she watching?
I hope, but the language. Yes, but the thing is, I mean, she has introduced us, even talked to us more about Jesus. You understand? And when we have any issue with Richard, we go to her. She will not even openly support us, the son. She'll say, no, Richard, this is wrong, which very many mother-in-laws don't do. When Dave, for example, you have an issue, and you take it to your mother, I'm sure she will support you, you know, giving an example like that. But my mother-in-law will always support me. So that's why I'll always talk positive. Not because the son is here.
Linda.
No.
Mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law is my best friend. If you make your mother-in-law your best friend, then all these things you want to sort about him, I will just tell his mother. And I will get all the solutions.
But remember, not everybody has the same situation or are in the same situation.
Yeah, so
we have mother-in-laws who... Actually, I had an opportunity to ask my mother-in-law, why are they so possessive? Why are they so clingy to their son? She told me, you know what, Tabitha? It's because we feel that you're taking our son away. You know? So I want to believe she's talking on behalf of other mother-in-laws. So, and other mother-in-laws are also is that the right word? Being told misinformed, right? About this lady who's just gotten into her home. So they also have a wrong picture and they do not have time or to dialogue so that they get to know this woman.
Yes, Richard.
My mother would only, no. When I talk about my mother-in-law, I'm talking about a different person now. Because my mother-in-law is away, and how we culturally treat our mother-in-laws, we men, is very different. We have a lot of respect for them.
And in some cultures, they don't see mother-in-law and son-in-law don't see face to face.
Yes.
That means they don't talk.
Exactly. That there's quite some distance in some situations. But I'm talking about my mother, who is a mother-in-law to my wife. My mother-in-law shouldn't be one who is forever in my house. Because that will be a recipe for trouble. My mother will never let go of me, because indeed I'm her son.
Still her son.
My wife will not let go of me, because I am her husband. I won't let go of my wife, because she is my wife.
And that means you cannot create two centers of power.
You can't. So you make one center. You have only one center. And that center becomes both husband and wife center. My take is this, that a mother-in-law to my wife, who is my mother that is the first person that you need to be very careful with. Because through my mother, my marriage to my wife can have a lot of problems. Much more than my mother-in-law, between me and my wife and my mother-in-law. Because she's a little distant. She doesn't know me. She has only known me as when I got married to my wife. But my mother knows me all through. You know? And the game is skewed here. The game is skewed here. Some men grow up until they are old enough and they have never told their mom no. You know? You must learn to do
whatever
that.
Whatever the mother says, whether it is right or wrong, it goes.
And it doesn't matter how friendly you are, how close you are. When it comes to your wife, there must be space.
Yes. Now the question again is, before we take a break, who should we or who should you listen to?
Yes.
My wife or my mother?
Okay. That's a good one.
You should listen to your wife because your mother is not your wife. Your mother is your mother. And
better experience than you.
No. Now this is a new thing. We are in one team.
I should
not
not
with
even
your mother.
consult.
Yeah. You can consult, but now making a decision, you will see if that decision.
Linda, the last time I checked, my mom was your friend. Tell me,
Consulting is not bad,
Yeah.
but the final
Decision
will be between the two of you.
rests between the two of you.
Yeah.
These are people who you want to assume, because they bore you, you are their child, then they are a wealth. They are the seat of wisdom. When you have issues that are coming up, you want to seek help from them. You seek help from them. They don't offer it when they are not asked.
That's true.
Yes. If you let them give you all the times, then they will be making your marriage their marriage.
Yes.
That means your mother and your father's marriage.
No,
Yes.
These two things are unique and they're different.
Yes.
They are never the same.
Yes.
Lady and gentleman watching, that is it. You have got it. I know you still have several questions about your relatives, but there's a new term coming in, mother in love.
Yes.
We love them because they are our mothers.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We are taking a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back, viewer. We are glad that you are still tuned in. There is no any other place to be except at Family Times, a show that focuses on family.
Yes.
This is the place to be. You are in the right place. Just before we went for the break, we were talking about so many things. We were talking about the in-laws. We narrowed down to mother-in-law. And there are so many things that we have talked about in this discussion, Family Times.
Yes.
Some of the things or some of the topics that we were able to cover include how to love well, love and commitment,
yes.
when reality dawns, love and submission. Richard, any other topic that you think about? Love and finance,
Love and finances there, Dave.
Likes and dislikes.
Likes
understanding
and
likes and dislikes.
Yes.
We also talked about
When reality dawns.
when reality dawns, we've mentioned. We've also talked about
in-laws.
courtship compared
To marriage.
to marriage.
Yes.
What else, Linda? You remember any other topic that we talked about?
Really.
We did practical love.
Like
Love
loving
and
practicality.
practicality. Yes. Now, what stood out in this very good and nice educative topics? What stood out for you?
What came out is that despite the fact that we are in our marriages, challenges do come, maybe financially, but at the end of the day, what overrides? Is it love or maybe finance can separate you? But we've seen that when we focus and God is at the center of our marriages, always He's the one who gives us the love, and the love overrides all the other things that we go through.
And I also realized, I also learned, Linda, that we also have likes and dislikes. And you know, when we have likes and dislikes, these are the little things that, you know, we find with our spouses. And we also realize that, you know, as much as we have the likes and dislikes, marriage is still beautiful.
Yeah, marriage is still nice. Yeah.
Dave, where we talk about submission, that stood out for me. Submission, what it means, how we need to go about it in marriages. We came to that place where we understood that submission is not surrender.
Right.
We defined these two things separately, and we came to agree that when it comes to submission, it's a two-way thing. It's not only one-sided. And that both husband and wife should be submissive to the cause that they agree on. Yes, they stood out for me.
You know, most of the time, even our viewer may think that when the host is sitting there and there's a discussion, that the host is just controlling the discussion. But I learned a lot about love and practicality.
Right.
In fact, I remember that day when Linda was talking about the things that I do that she loves. I wanted to give her a high five. I can give it to her right now. I learned a lot. I didn't know that these are actually things that Linda loves and she appreciates. That melted my heart away. We also talked about communication and solving conflicts.
I want to say something about how to love well. we need to love the ideal way of God. And when God decided to put two people to be one, they should be on one team.
Yes.
When you go down, you go down all together. When you're up together. You need each other to support the other.
And the key verse that was coming out in how to love well, if I remember very well, is Genesis. Yes, there was first Corinthians 13,
yes.
but there is also Genesis now, the foundation of marriage, 2:21 up to 25.
Yes.
That says God saw that man should not be alone, and need to give him a helper meet for him.
Yes.
Then the Bible continues to say that the man shall leave his father and mother and cleave, and the two shall become one.
And nobody can know it better than God himself, because he instituted marriage.
Yes.
He knows what that means. He knows why he intended it for man. And so he brought it that way. So you can't go out of this path and expect that your marriage will be any better. Your marriage is safer in the hands of God. This came out very clearly, even as we discussed these topics.
I also learned something very important about love and commitment. You have to take time.
Yes.
Time is involved. Most of the spouses or most of the families bribe their children or their husbands to get away with so much. But we realize that it doesn't matter how busy you are, you have to create time for your spouse.
Bringing up children in the 21st century.
Yes.
This was hot.
Very hot, very hot. Because
The challenges.
the challenges which are there, they are massive. They are massive.
Yeah.
But there's still a way out,
Right.
even with all these challenges. We can and we should be able to surmount them all.
Right.
Yes.
And remember the God's ideal way of bringing up children.
Right.
Yes.
One key book in the Bible that stood out for me is Deuteronomy chapter 6, from verse 6, I think verse 6 and 7.
And Proverbs 22.
Which talks about train up.
And when you're talking about training up a child, we also talked about discipline.
Right. Yes.
And what was the core of discipline?
Yes.
We realize that, you know what, most of the times when we hear the word discipline, the first thing that comes to our mind is caning the child. But we realize that is not the way. We should go on our knees and ask God, and also talk to this child and explain to this child, you know what, this and this have these consequences. And Richard also brought it very clearly, that discipline does not come only when that child has done that mistake. Discipline comes before, so that when the child is aware of the consequences, if I'm not wrong.
You're right.
When you realize that timer is off, in the reality, when the reality dawns, this is the point where now you get to when reality dawns, Richard.
Yes. When reality dawns is a challenge to many people,
Right.
especially in marriages, because you want to think that things are the same as they were when things started. But things take a different turn. The events change and things turn. But despite all that, everything must still come back to the same place. Because where the marriage has reached, that marriage is still under the same umbrella of love. Reality does not take away love. Reality enhances love.
Exactly.
Yes.
It strengthens the love. And I don't know why I keep on thinking about these verses, but again, the verse that stood out for me is James 1 verse 4. Verse 2, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, because such temptations bring about what? Patience.
It does.
In solving conflicts, we realize that we need to calm down. Before we react, we need to be proactive. Then we need to also involve prayer. Prayer is the key, and it will help you calm down.
We talked about emotional banking.
Right?
The benefits
The deposits.
Yes, the deposits and and the withdrawals.
I wanted to ask Linda, she's talked about proactive, and we have used this term for quite some time. You could actually just make it easier for this viewer who doesn't understand what this really means in practically. For example, you've been saying, oh, you know what, for you to be proactive, you have to pause. What exactly does that mean?
Before you react to a stimuli, what you need to do is just hold your breath and think. Then being proactive means you need to think of the positive side.
Right.
That's how
Of the
you
matter,
be proactive.
You don't just react.
Yeah.
You don't
Imagine
and
what the words are going to do to
the
the
next
other person.
person.
The response will
And
be.
you
need
know,
to think.
the response here really matters a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how whatever I need to respond to. I mean the degree in which she gave it to me,
Right.
but the response here
Yes.
really matters a lot.
I've also
Yes,
learned
Tabby.
about finances, which was very key,
Uh-huh.
that we also need to sit down and agree. For instance, if you want to buy a car as a family, we have to sit down, look at our finances and agree, is it possible? Do we still have some money remaining? And with the finances, we also have to put in the tithe and offering.
Yes.
Because God is the one who's given us.
We realize, Dave, that when it comes to finances, there's no solitary decision.
Yeah.
Everything must be done together
Right.
between husbands and wives.
Yes.
Because that's the only way to go forward. If that is not done, naturally conflicts must come up.
Yeah, so when everything is put on the table, Linda here will know that this is how much I earn. I know men out there, you're probably wondering, why should I tell my wife what I earn?
Yeah.
Get it from me, and Richard is here to
Yes.
back me up.
Yes.
It sorts you out.
It has.
You will be better organized using your finances. They'll be used for meaningful things. They'll be used for the family very well.
Yes.
And you will be happier than when you actually make decisions on your own. Some of the things you might buy will be rejected and they'll bring conflicts. Some of the things you buy probably will not be necessary and they'll be a waste of resources. So when the two sit together and agree on that, things become much easier. You'll have more peace over you.
Now, because of time, I want us to go back to our initial discussion when we were talking about in-laws. I want us to give our final submissions. Each one of us, I think we have about 40 seconds to go. Each one of us, give your final thought on in-laws. Let me start with Tabby.
Dear viewer, I have to say in-laws are very special people. If we only could look at them positively and also give some positive energy to them, we'll definitely get along. But if we already have a bad or a negative mentality about them, definitely it will not be a bed of roses. So I want to encourage you, viewer, it doesn't matter how bad it has been, because most of the times it's always bad. I do not care which level it has reached. You can always stand back, because truly speaking, you could be blocking your blessing. That in-law of yours could save you in one way or the other. Let's be close to our in-laws. We all have to go to heaven together.
Amen.
Amen. Linda?
What I can say to our in-laws out there is that we love you, and we know that when we stay together, all things are going to be well. And we are praying that when you come, learn how to accommodate the other new person in your house or in your family. And I believe that God has a purpose why he sets us in different families. So just learn to love the other person. May God bless you.
Richard, 1 minute, 20 seconds.
To
is
our
all you
viewer
have.
out there, life can be sweet with brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, and all in-laws, regardless of where they're coming from or whatever they do in their lives or whatever they go on with as a daily routine for them. Sister-in-laws, there could have been bad things which we have heard from other people, but we only need to make ours better. Mother-in-laws the same way. Make them your friends. But above that, always make sure that you and your husband are in tandem in every decision you make together regarding all the in-laws for that matter. You will find joy. You will find peace. You'll find love in them as well.
Well, viewer, you have heard it all. That is what we have been talking about this season. We have been talking about topics that matter to families. We have been talking about love, 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 love and commitment, love and submission. When reality dawns, it has been love. We want to tell you, and this I can tell them without fear, that what is coming next is just the bomb.
Wow.
If what we have been talking about is anything to go by, what is coming up is just it. We will be talking about terminal illness. when sickness strikes
In the family.
in the family. And you know, when we're talking about sickness, we're talking about diseases that have come in and really wreaking havoc emotionally, financially, and ultimately brings about separation. What happens when such happen, when sickness strike? And we're going to have people who have gone through this. We'll also be talking about adultery.
Right.
We've been talking about love and exciting things. What happens when adultery comes in? How do you handle it? Don't forget that even when we're talking about a Christian show like this, we must talk about abuse,
Yes.
violence, emotional abuse. We'll talk about all that.
All sorts.
In other words, I'm telling you, book your seat for the next time that we are going to sit down to talk about this. Who knows, we could be coming to you, we could be coming to your doorstep to have this conversation. We are also going to talk about children, more about children. How do we bring up children? How do we handle childlessness? So viewer, stay tuned for this and more. Again, the only way, the only place to find us is at Hope Channel and Family Times. Tune in all the time. Whenever you see us on the screen, know that we are here for you. God bless you. Until next time, bye-bye.